one of the things that I would love for you to learn how to do is the how to be a chef instead of a cook. This is one of my favorite metaphors. I am a cook when it comes to actual cooking. I can follow a recipe pretty well. If I look, I can measure the things, and I can put the things in the pot, and it'll turn out most of the time tasting like the nice person on All Recipe said that it would, right? There is a difference between me and a chef. My father is a chef. Kathleen is a chef. These are people who know how to make things because they know what the ingredients do when you put them in that pot. My father, when a batch of bread comes out, can say, this one didn't end up as crispy as I want. That is probably because there wasn't enough humidity in the oven, and I miscalculated because we are at a different elevation than we are normally where I cook up in Idaho, and can then adjust, and guess what? Next time, it turns out like he wants it to. If that happened to me, I'd look at the recipe and say, I follow the steps, what's wrong? So, as writers, I want you to be chef writers and not cook writers. A lot of writing advice you will get, a lot of the books you will read, will outline recipes for you to use to make a story. A famous one is what we call the hero's journey, outlined in the book Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. It is a good recipe. It has worked for a lot of people to help them make very powerful stories, but it is only a recipe. And the thing is, as a writer, your ability to tweak the recipe to get the results you want for your specific instance, your specific situation, is going to be vital to you being successful as a writer. If all you can do is follow a recipe, your stories will start to turn out either bland or weird. Let me explain. The hero's journey is, like I said, a pretty wonderful recipe. It outlines a story where a young person must leave a place of comfort and understanding, forced across a threshold into a new world that is full of danger, mystery, and these sorts of things. They will then go through this new world, be pulled low into what's called the belly of the whale, or the journey to the underworld. In the old Greek myths, it's literally journeying to the underworld. A lot of times it is a metaphoric journeying to the underworld, as Luke Skywalker did when he entered the tree in the Empire Strikes Back and saw that the danger for him was becoming his father, and these sorts of things. The most famous hero's journey story is Star Wars, so we usually reference that. He usually then comes out of that, has some sort of apotheosis with a father figure, and then kind of learns and grows from his experiences, and then obtains a reward and brings it back to his people in order to enlighten and help them. I say him because we're used to mostly be dudes. It doesn't have to be, but it did used to be mostly dudes in these stories. This is the hero's journey. It is really useful. It's really handy. It makes for great stories. Oh, you have it right there. Now, not to rag on certain creators. I think creators are allowed to do whatever they want with their storytelling. But one of the aspects in the hero's journey is the virgin birth, a Christ metaphor, and things like that is very common in the hero's journey. This is usually in the old Greek stories. They were a woman born that had a child of a god, right? Or some sort of thing like this. Lucas loves the hero's journey. Can you tell? There's a virgin birth in the prequel movies. I can guarantee, I was there on opening night, that everyone in that theater, when that moping happened, and his mom said, no, there was no father, he was born of the Force. Every single person in that theater went, huh? What? Really? Why? This doesn't make any sense. That's because it was on the list of recipe ingredients, and George Lucas wanted to put it into his story. And this is me externally postulating. I don't know George Lucas. And so shoehorned something into his story that actually didn't fit the story he was telling. He was following the recipe and actually made his story worse. One person's opinion. I use it just kind of as a guide, as a metaphor, right? This is what I want you to learn to avoid. And every one of us does it. George Lucas isn't the only one. Every one of us says, oh, this needs this thing because I've seen it so many times in movies or in books, without realizing your individual story doesn't need that element. You've gone a different direction. So keep that in mind as I'm talking about these things, because I will talk about a lot of recipes toward you in this class. And they are meant to be things that you can adapt and tweak and use as tools, rather than things that you are then supposed to take every little piece of it to heart. Otherwise, your Star Wars story has the virgin birth in it for no discernible reason.